What's up, everybody? This is Derek with Team Evolution, Rush of Ikorr, and I am coming to you with an incredibly fun deck profile for you. This time I'm hitting you with Chel Lady Rainbow. And let me tell you, I am extremely excited to show you this deck profile because this is a deck that I actually didn't think was really on my radar, or even a deck that I thought was going to be very good. But then I started kind of looking at some things, testing some things, and I kind of started to realize that this deck might actually be insane. And if you take the time to watch my my avatar ranking video, you will see that I actually put Chel in the S tier. And the reason why I did that is because there are some just very insane kind of infinite reusability combos that this avatar offers. And for yellow and blue, we get kind of the best benefits of Pythia and Pyramid and all the great removal with blue. And then obviously with Chel's avatar ability, the next turn that you can, or that you cast a spell this turn, it basically goes to your hand instead of going to the graveyard. You can just do so much and just stay in the game. You can control the game very well. And yeah, I'm excited to show you this avatar. I think she's actually insane. I did a few games with it, and honestly, that was enough for me to just be like, wow, I think this can actually be crazy. Made a couple of adjustments. And yeah, we're going to be testing this one a lot, but I'm very confident that this is easily one of the best possible decks for the game, teetering between that S tier and A tier category. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. Again, I appreciate any watches on my videos, subscriptions, likes. If you are new to the game, you come across my channel, you hang out on the Discord, I would really appreciate a sub. That way I can just keep everyone informed of what's going on with the game. My teammate and I are just still enjoying the game. We're building decks, we're testing a lot, we're having fun, waiting for the next events. Hopefully they do a regional, a remote regional again, which would be very fun. I know everyone has their own opinion on that, but I think right now it's probably the better way for them to do it. But all that aside, let's jump right into the deck profile. So again, kind of going over Chel. You pay 2, and the next time that you cast a spell, that spell basically goes to your hand instead of the graveyard. And then the rush ability for 3 until the end of the turn, allied spells cost 2 less. The bottom, or the rush ability, doesn't come up too often because there's no real reason to like burst spells or anything. I guess if you just had to play something cheaper and you had the Ikorr for it, you could, but it's not that big of a deal. We're mostly just paying attention to the original ability to just rinse and recycle really powerful spells whenever we like. And yeah, we have some good ones in the deck for sure. So let's just kind of get into it. Starting things off, we have 2 Stargazer, obviously a staple for yellow decks, and we have Foresight attached to it. That way on turn 1, we could curve or just start off with Pythia if necessary. And then obviously, after we start into the Pythia, then we immediately can look at the top card of the deck, and we can just start gaining Ikorr as early as turn 1, with Pythia, of course, being that 7 health body, which is exceptionally good for this deck. And then there's another reason that we can kind of abuse the Stargazer, as I'll kind of show you here pretty shortly, that you'll see with 1 card in the deck. But yeah, Stargazer is just an obvious staple. There's no real reason to over-explain the card. But with Pythia, it's just exceptionally good. So, of course, we're going to have Stargazer in the deck. Let's just do it this way. And then we have 2 of the Accomplished Architect, and we have the Curse of the Kami on this one, which is kind of the same thing that we do with our Sasano deck. So it costs 1 less. We play 3 different locations in the deck that are all incredibly valuable. So this just lets us get to the ones that we need to when we need them. And then we have a copy, or 2 copies of Insidious Farmer, or Industrious Farmer, sorry. One of them with Eye of Ra, and the other one with Apollo's Bow. So Eye of Ra, just excellent removal that you can use at any time to void a champion. And the Apollo's Bow is you force C2, you scrap 1, and if it's a spell, you get to deal 2 damage to something. So in this deck, it's an easy way to set up for Pythia, and it's also just an easy way to get spells and deal damage. And yeah, it's very simple. The next card I'm going to talk about is why these cards are anything that's not Egyptian is so important, and that's Shah. Okay, so we just call this Black Cat. with Shroud of Yomi. So this card's regular ability is summon. You may return a target non-Egyptian champion from your graveyard to your hand. And then Shroud of Yomi says pay 2, return this champion from your graveyard to your hand. So I kind of briefly talked about this in my ranking video for the avatars. And this is something that my teammate and I have kind of fairly discovered and have realized is really broken and really polarizing. I've been playing this in every single one of the blue decks that we built so far. He added it into Sasano, which makes it even more frustrating to play against. It's very insane in this deck. It's very good in Isis. It's very good in Poseidon. It's very good in Ryujin. It's good in everything blue. Essentially, when this card's in the graveyard, you can just pay 2, get it back, play it again, and you can nab anything that is a non-Egyptian. So obviously these with like Eye of Ra, oops, sorry, wrong one. Like basically these with the Eye of Ra and the Apollo's Bow because they're Mayas, so you can just rinse and repeat those infusions all the time. We play 2 copies of Swift Messenger, one of them with the Shroud of Yomi itself. That way at any time I could get this back and draw some more cards. But to be honest, I'm probably either going to switch this to the Tempenazotl or I'm going to put Scroll of Curses on it, one of the two. I just have my other Scroll of Curses in another deck. But if you have Scroll of Curses, I would play it on this. If you don't have Scroll of Curses, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Mostly because you can abuse it with Shah by always getting it back. This one we have the Tressus of Nephthys. So when it dies, I add another card from my graveyard to my hand. So again, at any time, I can pull this out of the grave, play it, get this back, play it, draw 2 cards, and then if it dies, I get to add another card back. And I can just rinse and repeat that process over and over and over. So anything that you see that is a non-Egyptian, just keep in mind that you can always recycle it with this card. I think this is a very, very broken card with this infusion, almost to the point where I could see this being like a bannable thing in the future if it became too problematic. But in every blue deck, it just takes it up a notch. And yeah, it is disgusting. So if you're playing anything blue, stick some infusions on stuff that's non-Egyptian or figure out what's non-Egyptian and put that in your deck because you can just reuse everything. It's ridiculous. And then we have, of course, 2 Pythias. And this is everything for the infused champions. It's not very much. I kept it very simple because you don't really need a lot of them. Obviously, if you're building this deck and you want to play some other ones, you can. Just pick and choose what you want to play. But I chose to go more just simple and focus more on like the Pythias and like other fabled stuff. But yeah, obviously there's our beautiful alt art Pythia in all its glory. I do got to get one more to finish my set, but very happy I got at least one. But yeah, absolutely playing Pythia in this deck. Milling spells is not a problem at all. Especially because we're also playing Osiris Reborn in the deck, so at any point in time, we can reborn any of the champions if we need to. Shah can help us get them back as well, but this is just a win con for the deck to just, you know, stall and win off of Pythia when we can. Incredibly broken card. I think this is the best card to set to, and any deck that can abuse it should, and this is definitely one of those decks. And of course, she's a Greek, which means, yeah, you know, have fun getting rid of her. I'm just going to bring her back with Shah and just never-ending loop you and cycle you with Pythia. And then for all the fables, we played Nefertari. Not mandatory, but I use it to search for Hapsetset because we have, again, 3 very powerful locations, and she's very good for triggering every single one of them. So I just played this as an additional body to get to her. You obviously don't have to do that. If you want, this could be literally anything else. If you want to play something else with like another good infusion or whatever, do that. I just figured, hey, if I draw this, I can get to her. And if I play like one of my good locations on turn 4, you know, then I can maybe just play the Hapsetset and just go from there. So that's just personal like choice, but you can do whatever you want, obviously. One Theusa, and yes, we do have an a full art version of her, which is beautiful. Very good because when she secures Ikorr, you can basically the next time a spell is sent to the graveyard via the deck or your hand, just from playing it, it goes back to your hand. So it's just another good body to recycle spells. We play Homer, very exceptional in this deck. Obviously, you're going to probably mill a spell off of it. If you do, your next Fabled card costs that much less. So it's good to just activate Pythia. It's good to get any of your other Fableds, which we play a lot more, out for free, potentially, including the locations. And he's a Greek, so again, you can also get him back off of Shah if you need to just keep using him over and over and over. I play Copy of Python, another good stall card, prevents the opponent from drawing cards or adding cards to their hand, and it's got lethal, it's got a good body and a good stat line, so it's a pretty fun card to play around with. Again, it's a Greek, so you can always bring it back off of Shah if you want. We're playing a copy of Charybdis. This one's incredibly fun. This is a 6/4/8 body that for some reason can't be attacked. Not attacking's fine. I actually don't care to attack because I have plenty of removal anyways. But the fact that this can't be attacked if you don't have Scylla is really weird. I don't want to play Scylla. She's not very good. I would rather just have this sit here and be annoying, and if my opponent can't remove it and can't attack it, then I'm just going to keep getting Ikorr off it, and guess what? It's a Greek, so it's very sticky. If my opponent can finally get rid of it and I bring it back with Shah, whatever. Anubis, any yellow deck should play this. It counters the graveyard, it counters Shah, it counters, a lot of decks, and it's just really good, so you got to play it. And obviously one shock, because it's the same thing, just refreshing and getting free resources is fantastic. So again, other than these two, these are all, and I guess the Anubis, these are all non-Egyptian, so I can reuse them with Shah if I want to. Other thing with Shah, by the way, is we've been testing it at just one, because you really only need one, but if for some reason that card became like very polarizing and you go to a tournament and people remove it with Eye of Ra or something, I would almost just play 2 copies so you could see it more and have it more and abuse it more, and why not? We're playing Pyramid, not as a main focus, but because we can and because it's more of a backup plan to help the deck win, because controlling with spells is one thing, but you got to still try and win the game, which is where this comes in. We're playing 1 copy of Delphi. You could arguably play it at 2, but you have a bunch of ways to get it back with Tressus of Nephthys and Shah anyways, so it doesn't really matter. But this card is probably one of the most insane locations out of set 2. Action, you get to force E4, and then reveal the top card of your deck if it's a spell that goes to your hand. So this plus Pythia is insane because you can just every single turn dig for a spell, and then mill a card potentially off Pythia to get that Ikorr. If your opponent can't remove this and you're doing this every turn, it gives you so much advantage. It's almost unfair. Easily one of the best locations in the game right now, again, especially with Pythia. And then I decided to play a copy of Chichen Itza just because, why not, right? I mean, recycling card is great. Triggering Delphi or this off of Hatshepsut is really good. Recycle 2 cards and draw 2 cards, dig 8 deep and find what you need to, stack how you need to, and then obviously, trigger twice on the pyramid to get 2 Ikorr. So the win cons are there, the control is there, it's just fantastic. They're all 3 of them very good. And then for the spells, which is the main part, we have 2 Oracular Visions, 2 Cultivating Theorist, 2 Burn Incense Ritual, 1 Tsunami. Tsunami is fantastic because Tsunami is kind of like inherent location removal. So in a deck that can abuse spells, that's definitely a good card to have. 2 Essence of the Dolphin to help just get our spells back if we mill it with Pythia or Delphi. And then, well, Delphi doesn't mill, but it's just a good way to get it. And then on top of that, if we have to activate it, because we put a card on the bottom of the deck with like Delphi or Cultivating Theorist, it helps us collect more Ikorr as well. 2 Overindulgence, because it's by far like one of the best removal cards in the game. 1 Plague of Arrows. AoEing for 1 and stunning humans can be fine, so it's just a good spell I decided to throw in there that pops up every once in a while. Obviously, 1 Tsukiyomi Twilight. We're only playing 1 because if we mill it, inevitably we can get it back at some point, so it's not a big deal. 1 Typhoon. I personally don't totally love this card, but it's just another good card that we could mill off of Homer. So that's another thing you want to take into consideration is because of Homer. You want to have a higher chance of milling some of these higher spells to discount those Fabled so you can get some really good cheated out champions. So the 1 Typhoon's fine. And you could technically use it with like Pyramid if you wanted to. 2 Poseidon's Wrath. Probably one of the best, if not the best removal card in the game next to like Yum Sybil. The card's insane. And being able to like use it infinitely with this is crazy. You could trim this down to 1 because of that, but personally for me, I didn't mind playing 2 because again, if I mill 1 with like Homer, then it's not a big deal. 1 Osiris Reborn because we can use it over and over and over with her ability or with Burn Incense Ritual, whichever. And then 1 copy of Great End because again, it's just additional board clear. We can use it basically anytime we want, and it's a spell. It's a big spell. So that's it. I mean, honestly, the deck is very simple. There's not really anything too crazy. You're just playing a lot of really powerful spells. We're using Pythia. We're using the locations. Lots of good Fable champions. There is kind of a higher cost to things, obviously. So, like, I guess one problem that this deck could potentially experience is, like, bricking, right? Like, if you ended up opening too many high-cost cards or something. But honestly, I never felt that when I was testing it. I always felt like my hands were pretty curved out and pretty fine. The early game can be a little challenging, which is why if you want to add, a few more champions that can deal with the early game, then go for it. By all means, you definitely have the room to do that by trimming a couple cards. But so far it runs great. Once you get into the late game, this deck feels unbeatable. I'll be honest, it feels very hard to deal with. It feels very hard to challenge. It feels very hard to catch up on. Pythia looping it with Shaw is just insane. Delphi's insane. Pyramid helps the cause, and you just have all the removal you could ask for, and some very just good sticky champions like the Charybdis and the Python. So that's it. That's the deck. It's very fun to play. I actually really enjoy playing this deck. I think it's one of the best decks possibly right now, and I would love to get some gameplay footage of this deck for you guys. But yeah, let me know what you think. As always, check out my other videos. I appreciate any comments or ideas or anything like that. And until then, Team Evolution out.